Benghazi may have involved illegally trying to arm the Syrian rebels. You know about, of course, the Benghazi attacks and the investigations that have followed, and the increasing suspicions, which we discussed in the video on Monday, that perhaps the Benghazi operation was designed to funnel aid to the Syrian rebels. Well, a few days ago, I was on the telephone and spoke one-on-one with the United States Senator, who's a very prominent member of the Senate, who either is or was a member of the Intelligence Committee. I'm not allowed to be more specific than that in giving you who it was. And I asked him two questions. First, I said, did the Intelligence Committee authorize the arming of the Syrian rebels prior to the vote that they took this past month, about 3 weeks ago? And he said, no, they did not. And then I said, if the administration had proceeded with plans secretly to arm the Syrian rebels, would that have been illegal? And he said, yes, it would. And I said, even though there was no Bowling Amendment at the time, the Bowling Amendment is the one that prohibited the shipment of arms to the Contras in Nicaragua. And it was in violation of that Reagan and North were breaking the law in 1987. He said, yes, it doesn't matter whether there was a Bowling Amendment or not. What matters is that you can't run through a stoplight put up by the Intelligence Committee. That is very significant. That is, to be precise, a crime, very possibly a high crime and misdemeanor. And it makes one understand why the administration was so focused on diverting attention from the attack in Benghazi, talking about it as an attack on a movie that everyone knew wouldn't happen, then letting it out there that we don't know what really caused it or motivated it. It was just a terror strike on the anniversary of 9/11. And now they're just buttoning up the CIA very tightly in Libya, making the agents change their names, move around the country, giving them weekly polygraph tests, and keeping them away from Congress so they can't be summoned to testify under oath. So you've got a very serious situation. This is not just a public relations nightmare. This is an actual violation of the law. The intelligence committees, just as background, were set up in the 1970s after it became clear that the CIA was just totally out of control. The CIA began with a fairly orchestrated, presidentially directed series of attacks, but then became completely wild, and the intelligence committees were established to control them and offer some degree of congressional oversight. I'll amplify their function and their origin in the history video tomorrow. But for today, let's understand that we're really playing for keeps now. That this Benghazi thing is not just misleading the public 8 weeks before an election, is not just lying to the American people about what it was about, is not just about covering up a scandal, is not a phony scandal, as Obama said. It is very possibly an effort to do something illegal. Now, the administration will probably contend that the CIA was not shipping arms to the rebels, but what the CIA was doing was taking armaments from Libya that could have been available to Al-Qaeda and other extremist groups and collecting them and getting them out of the country. And then somehow they ended up on boats supplied by Turkey heading to Syria, and somehow ended up in the hands of the Syrian rebels, particularly those affiliated with Al-Qaeda. The most important arms we're talking about are surface-to-air missiles, SA-2s, which were in abundance in Libya, bought by Gaddafi, and the fear has been that those would fall into the hands of Al-Qaeda, which could then use them to shoot down a U.S. passenger airline. So they were collecting SA-7 missiles, and you know what? Last week and the week before, SA-7 missiles surfaced in Syria in the hands of the Syrian rebels, and they're now using them to shoot down Assad's helicopters and airplanes. What a coincidence. So there's going to be a lot of digging about this, and follow it. This is very important. Thanks for watching.